Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports. I am your host, Robbie Fox, and with me is my co-host, Clem, my daimyo Clem, and we are here to talk about Chapter 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. What an amazing show this is turning out to be, Clem.
Yeah, it's fun. It's we're getting like some, we're getting a little bit more of the whole Boba, the background and all that stuff, but then we're expanding the universe. We're going back and forth. We're having flashbacks. We're having flashbacks that last so long, I forget it's a flashback. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I watched this one with Sienna. And she's like, Dad, is this still the flashback? And I'm like, yeah, he's in that flashback to tank, which shout out to whoever threw that one into the mix.
That's what it's called now. I know it. The
Yeah.
flashback to tank. I put it in my notes too. That's just the definitive name. Update the Wikipedia.
Yep. And for the people on the YouTube can see, Bobby has his, Rob has his Boba Fett shirt on, and Alex Jones, not that one, at least I don't believe so, called us Bobby Fett and Fennec Clem. And I'm like, that is the official fucking names for the rest of this iteration of My Mom's Basement. We're talking the Book of Boba, Bobby Fett, Fennec Clem. We're rocking and rolling. So I feel like first episode, I said single, in like the infield gap or whatever. For me, I'm saying stand up double. I was pretty happy with it the whole time. Very good. I was on the Lights Camera Barstool Twitter Spaces that they do every single Wednesday night after the episode, and they had someone on who's like a diehard, like comic books, like really into it, and he called it two-run home run. So I definitely think there's people who are thinking more than a double. For me, stand up double. Very happy with what we got. How about you, Bob? What'd you think?
I think it's probably a triple for me, maybe a sliding triple.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the inclusion of some things from the comics that we'll talk about was awesome. I'm not like a diehard fan of Black Krrsantan myself, but the inclusion of that is just so cool. The inclusion of the Hutts in this episode, I loved the entire flashback sequence, very Dune-esque as it's been compared to. This was up there with the top tier Mandalorian episodes for me. And it was one of those episodes that I sat back at 4 in the morning, went, I'm really glad I stayed up to watch this at 3 in the morning. And it made me go, I love Star Wars. This is why I love Star Wars. It was pretty much everything I wanted episode 2 to be, just building and building and building. And I think we're going to get a big explosion by the end of the series.
I think so too, and that's what I'm hoping for. Knock on wood. This episode felt very Mando-ish to me. Except if it was Mando, it would have probably wrapped up in this episode where it's like, all right, you're teaching the Tuscan Raiders how to do this. You get you prove your worth to like this new tribe of people that you were the outsider to, and then we go about our way. We take Baby Yoda to another planet. This one, obviously, it's this book. We're staying with the story, and again, the flashback, and then we go to the present day. It kind of gives them more ways to kind of weave that story and not have to keep going from point A to point B to point C every single episode. So yeah, thumbs up all
That is
around.
the difference between this and Mando too. It's like this we have a clear overarching story of okay, we've got maybe some issues with the mayor, we're finding out who the mayor is. We've got some issues with the Hutts, whereas Mando, like you said, it would have been like, all right, that's in the past. Let's move on to the next adventure. It does have the overarching story, but it's a lot more prevalent in the Book of Boba Fett, I think.
Agreed. And again, I hate to do this, hate to slander the man. It's not even his show. Mando doesn't hold a fucking candle to Boba Fett. I mean, the guy can barely use a flamethrower. It's day one fucking Mandalorian shit right there. He has nice armor. He was like the fucking, he wasn't even a good parody at length. But we love him. Nice name, all that kind of stuff. Shout out Mando wherever you are. But yeah, let's keep this going, baby. You said Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars, we're moving in, like we said, with what did the scene? We got some YouTube. We have the YouTube quick hitter exclusive to YouTube. It's not on the podcast, so go to the My Mom's Basement YouTube to check it out. And we're saying how like I'm hoping the DC universe is like a 7 and 9, 8 and 8 season where it's not trash, but it's not great. And I think the Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, I'm hoping for like a 12 and 4 season for them. Star Wars, it's like they need to have like at worst 8 and 8 to 10 and 6 seasons from here on out after the sequel trilogy ripped us apart. And I feel like we are progressing. It's like right now it's early in the season, but I'm like, all right, we have a good team. You can see where everything is. You can see this is going to be a good season. As someone that's watched a lot of bad football lately, this looks nothing like my Giants right now. So I'm very happy about that.
Well, I'm glad. Let's get into chapter 2, The Tribes of Tatooine. Such a good episode title as well. Shout out
Yep.
John Favreau writing this. And as you mentioned, we do get some storylines that are very similar to Mando. And let's teach this tribe how to fight, how to defend themselves. It's, I believe, like the Seven Samurai plot. That's what Jeff T. Lowe at least said to me. So I would trust his take on it. And I think that's like the Dave Filoni, George Lucas. Let me go back to what initially inspired George. I kind of liked that. We start with shots of Jabba's palace, some cool new shots of Jabba's palace. Fennec brings in that assassin from last week. He is a prisoner for her. He says he's from the Order of the Nightwind. Or I think 8D8, the droid actually says that. He says he won't talk for any man. He's from the Order of the Nightwind. He's dropped off to the Rancor pit after we're told he won't discuss this with anyone. And he says he was sent by the mayor. So it's a big intro where you're like, oh shit, maybe we do have issues with the mayor.
Yeah, and again, I dislike the mayor that we hadn't even met yet, but the mayor's guy who we end up seeing in a little bit, I need his head on a spike by the end of this series. I know that's a little extreme for the Star Wars universe, even though they did have the stormtrooper like helmets on a spike. I'm talking Game of Thrones medieval shit on that guy because he just has that look. He doesn't even have a punchable face. He has a put a head on a fucking spike face. That's what he fucking has. I loved rolling up to Jabba's palace, and it was kind of the other angle. I got a little bit of the Jedi vibes when they're walking up the little path to get there. So that was cool. The Nightwind, that dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, I know it's the Rancor is like this fearful creature and, probably the species rings out in the streets. That dude was fucking pissing his pants and fucking, singing. So at least Luke gave it a fucking shot and obviously killed it. Fucking awful look for the night. I have no respect, zero respect for the Nightwind right now. And I have to say, man, going down to that pit, man, I wonder how that Rancor trainer is doing, man. How do you think he's like? How you think he like started hitting the bottle after he lost his best friend? He doesn't strike me as a barge guy. He's not a guy where Jabba's like, come on, we're gonna go kill these guys. Like that would be the right thing to do. Jabba should have probably taken him on the barge and be like, this guy killed your best friend. I'm gonna let you watch me feed him to the Sarlacc. But Jabba doesn't strike me as that kind of boss, right?
No, Jabba probably took him aside and said, listen, I'll let you take the day off. I'll let you take the week off. And I bet that guy probably got a new Rancor. I bet he's raising a new one that's kind of tiny now.
Oh, that would be awesome. I actually think Jabba is probably like, clean up your dead friend. He embarrassed me, and like you have to work overtime tonight. You have to work like watch out duty in case anyone sneaks around here, and so we don't have another Leia Han situation.
I think that's what Jabba says in front of everyone else, but then he pulls him to the side. He's like, no, I'm sorry. Take the week off.
You're a big Jabba guy. You think Jabba is this like gracious ruler? That's a new part of Boba Fox. I didn't realize.
No, I think it's just I think he takes care of the family almost in a Tony Soprano way, where he's like, "Hey, you're my guy."
A Jabba is Tony Soprano guy. I absolutely love it.
So Boba and Fennec go to meet the mayor at this point. There's a lot of Trandoshans on the way. I feel like it's got to be a little tiny tease for Bosk. I don't know, but they kind of lingered on them for a second there, and they go to meet the guy who works for the mayor. He works the front desk for the mayor. It's Bailey Carlin, our friend B.W. Carlin, and everyone tweeted the screenshots immediately. It looked like him. He has the mustache. He has the 5-panel hat. Boba eventually forces his way into the mayor's office when he's like, all right, I'm not making any progress with this guy. And the mayor's name, Mok Shaiz. He's an Ithorian, kind of looks like the Hammerhead alien. He's voiced by Robert Rodriguez, which I thought was cool. I also think Robert Rodriguez sounds just like Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian himself.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, that voice I've heard before. I know it's because Robert Rodriguez is just putting his voiceovers in all this shit, but it sounds the exact same to me. It's completely fucking up my brain.
And it was cool, like you could hear the Ithorian language, and it was being translated through like it was almost like a robot voice. It was a droid voice translating it into English or whatever they call English in Star Wars. I think they call it like main language or something. And they say the Order of the Nightwind is not allowed to operate outside of Hutt space. So the mayor has his people kill this assassin right away. He's like, no, I didn't send him. He's not allowed to operate. Thanks for bringing him in. And Boba's like, listen, I'm going to take your fucking reward as the tribute you should have paid me. They kind of have a little tension back and forth. And he tells Boba, running a family is a lot more complicated than bounty hunting. And if you go to the sanctuary, you'll see what I mean. So Boba's like, all right, let's go to the fucking sanctuary. They go to the sanctuary. They go up to Garsa Fwip and they say, Garsa, what's going on? I didn't realize, by the way, Jennifer Beals. Did you know that episode 1?
I did know that. We didn't talk about it, but I looked it up and like did the whole research because I was like, "What else is she?" And I knew she was a Flesh, and then I was like, "What?" And so I did know that. I don't think we mentioned that. The fucking sick name, like Star Wars, the Flip. That's something I never even
Yeah.
thought was possible. Incredible.
So they go to Garza and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? We were told by the mayor that if we came here, we would see something that we needed to see." And she says that the twins have laid claim to their late cousin's throne. And mark this down as the first basement we called it of the season. Last week we told you not a second cousin, not a third cousin. We're talking first cousins. We got some fucking first cousins of Jabba the Hutt, twins, no less. Twins, not one, but two cousins. They come in on a litter. They're being carried fucking WrestleMania 9 style by their people. Unbelievable.
The Basement Boys are getting hot. I'm telling you, 2022 year of the Basement. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave the reviews. And fucking get in on the ground floor. This is audio Bitcoin you guys are listening to right now. That is completely false, but it felt fucking so good,
But
Bob.
leave a like for getting that one. Come on,
Yeah,
leave us a
yeah.
like for getting that prediction correct.
And it was like family member. I'm talking no more than first cousins, and they're like basically Garth's like first cousins, not second, not third, not fourth. We're talking like LeBron here at the fucking Heat, announcement special. That felt so goddamn good. Did you see that that article that was going viral? The headline where it's like Jabba's girl cousin is 2022 vibes.
No.
Or 2022 goals. Jabba's female cousin is 2022 goals, and people are like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Like, we are currently living in the worst time of human existence right now, where that headline was actually real. But it's almost so bad, I actually love it now. So shout out to Jabba's cousin, 2022 goals right there. His girl cousin, not the boy cousin, the girl cousin. No. 2022 goals.
Yeah,
you know
she doesn't even really have to.
Goals?
What?
Being the person that has to carry two Hutts on the fucking litter.
I know.
Man.
I was thinking
tough.
that.
I felt so
How heavy are two Hutts?
I'm a big dude, and I wouldn't want to carry just myself on there. Carrying two fucking Hutts. I dressed up as Jabba at a fucking thing. I feel bad for anyone who would do that, let alone two those motherfuckers. They got little rats scurrying around too. Like, you're worried about a rat just jumping off and like, getting on your neck or something. Ooh, no, thank you. No, thank you. And the going back to the mayor, first of all, the mayor, this is tough. If your mayor has a straight up vagina on their neck, how do you not look at that vagina? Like, if there's like someone has something on their face, like a mole, or someone has some hair or something, it's hard, a lazy eye. But when your fucking mayor has a goddamn vagina on their neck, it is tough not to look at. Sweet little translation bot they had though, where he would talk and they were like automatic. I feel like they have that in the UN where you could like put the headphones on and listen to whatever language is native for you or whatever. I love that. Shooting. And I hate the mayor. I hate his stupid fucking head on a spike level fucking assistant. I hate them all. Shooting a dude in the neck was fucking awesome. Just fucking take care of those Nightwing bitches. They suck anyway. They're little snitches. Nightwing fucking stinks. Oh, and Sienna saw the elephant. She saw Max Rebo, and she goes, "There's the elephant." So Max Rebo is another generation is falling in love with that guy. No one is having a better. That's fucking the real 2022 goals. Max Rebo making a comeback when I thought his ass was dead this whole time.
As soon as I saw him too, I was like, "Oh, there's my fucking guy." I hope they show him every episode. Just a little shot of Max in the corners to remind us, like, "Oh yeah, he's still kicking. He's alive. He's doing well. He's like the Willie Nelson of the music universe in Star Wars, where they're like, Max is still playing. They're like, yeah, he's still getting up on stage. He's got the whole family with him. Go see Max Rebo. Yeah.
And don't forget what they call that down there in the Star Wars land, right? What do they call jazz music? Yeah, they call it
jizz. Yeah, it's really called jizz. But the twins come in on a litter. They have Black Krrsantan with them, who is from the comic books. He's from the Darth Vader comics. The first introduction of Black Krrsantan I actually read. It was one of the Darth Vader comics I read. And I don't know a ton about him because I think they really fleshed him out in Dr. Aphra. But people love him. People absolutely love him. He's the first Wookiee bounty hunter. He was on Kashyyyk. He kind of got banished from Kashyyyk. I think he like baited slavers into coming to Kashyyyk for some Wookiees for like a gladiator tournament. And then he was like, "I'm killing all of you except one. Bring me to that gladiator tournament." And then he became this like amazing, almost Thor Ragnarok-esque gladiator. And that's why Boba references. He says, bring all the gladiators you want. Like, this doesn't scare me. He worked for Jabba the Hutt for a while. I believe he even worked for Darth Vader for a quick minute. And he is definitely known in the galaxy as one of the most feared bounty hunters there is. He fought Luke. He fought Obi-Wan. He kicked Chewbacca's ass. He fought, who else? No, I guess that's it. Luke, Obi-Wan, Han, Chewbacca. He fought all of them in the comics, and I think he came up on the winning end of most of those. He wears like brass knuckles. He's a bad motherfucker.
I didn't know if this guy was even a known thing because I'm like, did Bob just fucking not let me know that bad Wookiees exist? I thought every Wookiee was fucking honorable and great and a wonderful person. Now is this guy like the black sheep of the Wookiees? Like, there's one bad Wookiee, and that's the dude we just met. Like, he fucking like, is that fair to say?
I think he's up there. Yeah.
And I gotta know this because I didn't realize he fought all of our like favorite fucking heroes too. Is he a dirty fighter? Is he a little Ric Flair, like a hit in the balls when no one's
I
looking?
think so, yeah, because I know when he fought Chewbacca, Chewbacca was drugged.
Oh, I love it. See, I'm falling in love with the villains again. I kind of like this guy. I'll probably do something that will make me eat my words in the next few episodes, but I'm kind of falling. Like, he just has a badass look. I didn't realize he had anyone that still rock brass knuckles when they have fucking like laser technology. God bless you, man. So I fucking, and the threat, sleep lightly. What a great threat that is to tell somebody when the Hutts say that. I was saying the other day, I'll pray for you is such a good thing to say to someone because it's so fucking condescending and you can't really say anything back because you're saying something so nice. And then a lot of people from the South mostly were like, if you say like, bless your heart, bless your little heart,
Yeah.
sleep lightly is a little more aggressive than that. But those are some three just great fucking like poison filled, fucking venom filled like words to say to somebody. I loved it.
How about Thanos to Tony Stark? I hope they remember you.
Oh,
Right
yeah,
as he's
that
about to
was,
die. Talk about one that cuts deep.
yeah. Oh, Bob, a
Pun
little fucking in
intended.
That's what you get down here in the basement.
Yeah.
We're just having
Boba
fun.
tells them, he says, I am the daimyo now, whatever your cousin says, which is such a badass thing. I'm the fucking daimyo of Tatooine. He says, whatever your tablet says, you have to come to my throne if you want it. Come take it, basically. And they're like, all right, we're not going to shed the blood here on these streets. But they make some threats back and forth. We know that this is not a friendly relationship. It's not going to be a good relationship going forward. And Boba goes back to the flashback to tank at this point. And the rest of the episode is dealt with in flashbacks, which I was actually cool with because it's a 53, 56-minute episode. When you do the longer extended runtimes, give it as many flashbacks as you want at that point. It really worked well. So we see the Tuscan Raiders. They're teaching Boba Fett how to fight in hand-to-hand combat using their weaponry, using the gaffy stick, I believe it's called. A little creature hops out of the sand, goes over by dunes, and we hear a train approaching. At first, I was like, is this another creature? Is this a crate dragon? Is this the sandworm from Dune? Nope, it's just a train, and they start getting shot. Like the Tuscan Raiders take their positions. Some of them get shot. They seemingly have dealt with this before, though. They're like, oh, defend yourself, whatever. We have a Tuscan funeral, and then Boba sees some speeders drive past. Possibly the same speeders he saw last episode stealing water from those Aunt Ben, Uncle Beru looking people. And or Uncle Owen? Why did I say Uncle Ben? That is Spider Man. I got confused with Spider Man. And Boba Fett then tells the Tuscans, listen, I'll be back at morning. We're going to stop the train. See you in the morning. But you know Boba Fett's about to do some badass shit.
Boba's about to go Boba on people's asses. And I'm with you
Yeah.
too. The flashbacks, I'd almost prefer just like once you're done with whatever the current shit is, just go flashback to tank and stay in the flashback to tank. Flash 007, that was the first one that I saw tweeted at us, flashback that he hit us up with that one. This fucking blows my mind. Tatooine has to lead the galaxy in dicks per capita, right? Like every fucking person we meet in Tatooine is an asshole. And I know you started Mos Eisley and it's during a war and you know the stuff, but it feels like you can't trust anybody between the prequels and the fucking original trilogy. It's nothing but fucking no good, no dirt. I can't. What's the fucking no good or dirty low down tricksters? They just seem like a bunch of fucking dicks. And I don't know if it's because there's sand everywhere and it's coarse and everyone just gets so mad.
Rough, irritating. Yeah.
And it's always fucking hot. I understand that, but there's just so many just shitty fucking people here, man. It's unbelievable to me. When I saw the train going, I'm like, there's trains and there's plenty of trains in Star Wars, but I thought it was on track. So my brain was completely just fucking confused, man.
It's very strange when you see a train levitating. Yeah, because what makes a
Yeah.
train a train? It's kind of the fact that it's on tracks, but and not in the Star Wars. Yeah, it's kind of a mind fuck there. But I think that the Tatooine thing is maybe because they used to have oceans, as they mentioned in this episode, and then they dried up. Tatooine was probably a sick place to live, and all their real estate just went to shit. Because then now they need moisture farmers to get any water. They need the little black pumpkins, right? Or black melons, they called them in this episode. Yeah, Tatooine doesn't seem like a place I'd want to live.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, there's gonna. I'm trying to think of the like what the climate change place will be. That's like it was so lush, and then it just fucking dried into a bone, and it's a fucking desert now.
Earth.
That gonna. Yeah, well, Earth in general, yeah, Earth, just the entire planet is gonna just become Tatooine, and we're already like, I mean, at least online, everyone's basically a Tatooine resident online. Everyone's always arguing and is mad with each other. So this kind of checks out, Bob. We're on our fucking way to being the next Tatooine. Awesome, great, wonderful.
Maybe this galaxy far, far away wasn't so far away after all. So here we get a crazy, crazy deep cut Easter egg reference, whatever you want to call it. We get a couple having a dinner, having a drink at Tashi Station. Literally, like, I gotta go to Tashi Station to pick up my power converters. Luke whining about that shit. That is where they are. And the couple is Lay's Lone Zoner and Cammy from a deleted scene in A New Hope. These are two of Luke's friends that he grew up with on Tatooine, that they were cut out of the movie, the original, but we have two characters now playing them, the characters from the deleted. It's such a crazy deep cut reference that I can't believe they went there, but it's amazing because for the hardcore Star Wars fans, we're like, oh fuck, those are Luke's friends. Don't be messing with Luke's friends. And we do see a gang messing with Luke's friends. They are some of the most evil looking aliens in the galaxy. They just got horns and spikes on their face. They look like the Hot Topic employees of the galaxy. And Boba Fett comes in like fucking Denzel Washington in The Equalizer. He has this amazing entrance shot where they kind of play those like horns that they played during the tragedy when he came in The Mandalorian, and he fucks everybody in this bar up. It looks like they've turned Tashi Station into whatever they used to be, a Radio Shack where they sold power converters. Now it's a bar, and he fucks them all up, has a sip of the drink, and leaves. He steals all their speeders. He goes back to camp. This was, I would probably say, my favorite scene in the entire episode, just based on how badass they made Boba Fett look.
Yeah, and I also appreciated how they left no doubt in your minds that this like crew, this gang or whatever you want to call them, they were just like legitimate dickheads. They were assholes. There's no, like we talked about how there's a little more gray coming into the Star Wars universe. You're learning that the Tusken Raiders aren't such evil people. They're actually have families. They care about each other, and they're just doing whatever they can do to survive and help their families survive. It's like, no, these guys are scumbags. They like just the way they approach the women. You're like, oh yeah, bad person, kill that guy right there. And Boba, if I had to like compare it to, it's almost like when the Hound in Thrones would just start fucking up like legitimately bad people. You're like, oh yeah, we have this guy who's like the ace of fucking spades. You just slam that down on the table during a game of war, and he's wiping out everybody. And that's exactly what Boba did. It was awesome. It was that, I'd say that was probably my favorite part as well, because it's just like this.
I
is
mean,
the
the
guy.
Hutt scene was awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Seeing some Hutts, they looked good, by the way, too. I feel like it was the first time we've seen
yeah.
CGI Hutts that are like, okay, no, that's probably what Hutt should look like instead of the Episode 4 Special Edition one. The episode, actually, they looked okay in Episode 1. I think Jabba looked okay in Episode 1.
Yeah, yeah. I've had most of episode one purged from my brain, even though we rewatched it during the pandemic last year with DLCB guys. But the Hutt is an underratedly tricky thing, and it's something they're going to obviously come back to. So they're not leaving our lives anytime soon. I think we can all agree. But again, we're at the fucking state. Like, we paid to see Boba, and that we got fucking full fucking Boba, which was great to see. I love that.
Absolutely. So we return to the Tuscan camp, and he brings them in first. I think they even shoot at him, or they draw their guns, and they're like, they think it's like a herd of people coming towards him. Nope. He just tied up all the speeders, and they try to like junk him the second he gets there. He's like, no, no, no. I'm going to teach you how to ride these things. And we get a very funny scene where he's like teaching him, this goes forward, this goes back, and he's like a bantha, and he has a silly face on while he's doing it. It's already like a meme I've seen. And he teaches them how to ride these things, these speeder bikes. He teaches them how to jump from one to the next. They're still teaching him hand-to-hand combat, so it's a little, you teach me something, I'll teach you something going on here. And then we get the big train approaches sequence. Even the kid is in on it, where he's helping with or she is helping with the signals. And we get this train approaches. We get it kind of, I called it a heist in my notes. Not really much of a heist. I guess they steal stuff at the end, but they really just want to stop the train, figure out who it is, what they're doing there. And the girl Tuscan Raider that I said is a girl, or Sienna said is a girl, so now
Yep.
we're saying is a girl. She comes in and saves the day. I do think it is a girl too, just based on the way the wrapping is on the head, almost looks like long hair. So She comes in, she saves the day. She's a badass fighter. Very cool sequence on the top of the train where Boba looks like he's in trouble for a bit, and then she comes in, fucks everybody up with the sticks. Boba stops the train with his stick, and I loved the little droid that was like the pilot of it. He reminded me of a Muppet or something. He just jumped out when his
Yes.
time was done, and I thought this was also a very cool Dune-esque sequence.
Yeah, so I watched the Emergency Awesome, which all like a great recap guy if you for any nerd shit, Star Wars, Marvel, Thrones, all that kind of stuff. And he had mentioned Dune like 1,000 different times. I'm like, man, I really need to watch Dune because I don't know any of these references. I just haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. But he did say that is confirmed a girl Tuscan Raider, and I'm like, Sienna, cool. What's 2 for 2 basement girls getting in on the action.
Leave another like.
I leave another. You gotta leave it. Actually, does that take away our like? Don't.
Oh yeah,
go to another video.
Don't take it away.
Like
don't
that.
take it away. Yeah.
But you nailed it too. I don't know if this is just my stupid brain. Like, my favorite characters in Star Wars are like R2-D2, the Millennium Falcon. I just the machines. So many of the machines have like personalities to them, and that droid was like my favorite character of this episode. There was just something about him I just loved. He had that like charm. He's like, "Fuck this shit. I got this thing about to blow up. I am out. Deuces." And
I just didn't like the end. When he crawls away like a spider, I was like, I didn't know he crawled like a fucking spider. I don't like that. I don't like anything that looks like a spider. Which, by the way, I'm going through the Harry Potter movies for the first time now. There's a terrifying, terrifying spider sequence in the second one. Massive, hairy spider in the forest, got little spiders around him. Has been a spider scene in every one since. There's spiders everywhere in this franchise. Maybe that's why I didn't get into it when I was too little. They're great movies. Every spider scene, I got to look away. I got to take something, put it in front of my face. Oh my God, terrifying shit. I don't like spiders. Not a spider fan.
But Robbie Fox watches real life human cockfighting in person. Just watches people get beaten to a pulp. Fake fighter on a TV screen just gives him the willies. It's amazing. I love that kind of stuff.
Dude. He gathers up the entire syndicate. This is the Pike Syndicate, who we've seen in the Clone Wars, who we've seen in some other Star Wars media, Solo, a Star Wars story. They were mining spice on Kessel. And he says, let me ask you something. They're like, are you going to kill us? He's like, let me ask you something. It depends on how you answer. Is this spice that you're hauling here? And they have a great leader who is like, what spice? What do you mean by spice? It's the classic, you go to the doctor, they're like, do you smoke? And it's like, smoke what? What are you talking about? And Boba's like, that's what spice looks like. They open the chest. There's a bunch of spice. And he says, okay, you must now pay a toll to pass these sands, this Dune Sea or whatever they called it. He says, you must now pay a toll because these are native lands. This is owned by the Tuscan Raiders. And we won't kill you. We will spare you. But you got to march all day that way in a single file line. We'll give you each a fucking melon, a black melon. You could get out of here, and you tell your people those are the terms. So he's kind of like taken back ancestral territory. Kind of had vibes of like Yellowstone, if you ever watched that, like where the Native Americans are like, this is our fucking land. Like, what are you talking about? You're coming in and colonizing it? No way. And I dug that, and I feel like it could be a story going forward in this, where it's like, I think something might happen to Boba's Tuscan Raiders where it sends him on another path, or I think by the end of this, maybe he's retaking Tatooine for the Tuscans.
Oh wow, the whole once ocean rich planet of Tatooine. I didn't think of that. I kind of would just like these like fish guys. I don't know what else to call them. They just call us bluff. They're like, yeah, they got lucky. We had no idea they had this fucking random dude out there. We're gonna like build another train and we're gonna light these motherfuckers up more than anything. But I do feel like we probably this like side of it, they'll probably bend the knee and not come back after, I guess, like walking in a single file line during the Tatooine afternoon could not be fun. You're just sweating your dick off. You have those little black melons. No, oh God.
And they didn't even say it was water. They said the milk of a black melon.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being in the desert forever and then just drinking room temperature milk.
Brandon Clancy loves milk. He loves drinking milk. He probably would love that. He's probably doing it right now. He's probably out there fucking just drinking some milk out there. Fucking Cali, wherever he is.
We got to get him on one of these. I bet he's watching Book of Boba Fett. I know he's more into the Marvel stuff, I think, but I think he's into Star Wars stuff as well. The Tuscan Raiders bring Boba into this little tent that night for a ceremony of sorts. They tell Boba, we've been in hiding. Most other Tuscan tribes go out and kill to survive, but we hide. We get the melons, we get the creatures and all that. This is a good Tuscan gang. And they offer him a gift. They say, we have a gift for you. He's like, a gift? Why do you have a gift? They bring out This little thing that a lizard is inside it. Lizard jumps up his fucking nose. They put a little powder in his face. Lizard jumps up his nose and he starts hallucinating. This is like a 3-chi lizard. It's the 3-chi lizard strain. He starts seeing his home world, Camino. He starts seeing waves in the desert. Even he sees this Slave One take away, or is it the Slave One? I guess it's the same ship that Django had, right? Django had the Slave One.
Yeah.
Takes off, and what else does he see? He sees he gets wrapped in a tree and he sees the Sarlacc kind of eating him, and it looks like the tree flashes back and forth between it.
Little red eyes.
Yeah, the red eyes in the tree, almost like bats or something, and he gets tangled in this tree. He eventually breaks out and he comes back the next day with one of the big tree branches, and they know what he's back for. They know, this was all a journey on purpose. And they're like, let's see the stick. He presents him with the stick. They're like, yep. They wrap him up in the robes that we saw him in The Mandalorian. He carves his own gaffy stick. He works with this guy, a woodshop teacher. The Tuscan Raiders have a woodshop teacher. He teaches him how to make it. It was a very cool sequence, actually. Them like putting it in the fire, them putting the metal into it. All that was cool. And then the episode ends with Boba Fett joining them for a tribal dance around the fire that kind of reminds you of the haka, right, that you see or something like that. It was very, very cool, very dramatic. The score made it feel epic, and that is the ending of episode 2. I think, like we kind of predicted last week, I think we're going to get one more episode with flashback sequences. I think we're going to see Boba Fett meet Fennec Shand and repair her, where Fennec now says she owes a life debt to Boba because he fixed her abdomen after she was shot by Bobby Cannavale's son. And I think after that, we're probably on to just the Boba Fett is a mobster storyline.
Yeah, and what is it called? The
daimyo.
Daimyo. I fucking love that line, that term too. I have to remember that one. I might just call myself that. I'm gonna call myself to the kids. Be like, call me Daimyo.
The daimyo of the house. Yeah.
You sons of bitches. When they said this lizard's gonna lead you somewhere, I was so excited to see what the lizard was about to do, and then I realized the lizard's like a fucking drug, and it was like tripping them out with metaphors and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going? I thought I was on drugs to someone. I'm like, what am I watching right now? I see a tree with water, but I know we're in Tatooine, and then I didn't know if it was a flashback, flash forward, if he's actually walking to the tree. It was a lot of shit. That was a lot to digest right there. And then all that just to get a walking stick, essentially, which I knew was going to become his like weapon or whatever. But I was like,
and I think it was maybe like, will it alter his mind at all? You know how people do like ayahuasca or like DMT? They have these journeys and they're like, I came back a changed person. Is that this for Boba Fett? Where are they kind of shedding the last of his, I'm a bad guy? And now he's kind of just like, I rule with respect. I think we should all be a little more peaceful because I did mushrooms.
Takes mushrooms one time. That's like the fucking, Boba Fett went abroad for a semester. Now he's coming back acting like he's such a changed man. I love it. Like, just take him to the tree yourself. Choose a branch, man. You get a fucking stick. Awesome. Instead, I did like, though, when they sprayed the spice in his face, and he's like, I think I just ate your lizard. I think, yeah. Funny moment that he had between them. And then I will say my favorite part was when he's just getting like his like wrappings, and I'm like, Boba Fett is getting like an alternate uniform right now. Like, it was like it reminds me of when they do the throwback uniforms for a team, but the current team like either never played there or it's like from eons ago. It's like when the Minneapolis Lakers or something like that, or the Toronto, whoever was the original Toronto team in the NBA, and you're just like, oh, we're doing some serious throw. The New York Titans for the Jets, right? There's some, so I kind of like seeing Boba in this completely new uniform. And then again, I had no idea those Tuscan sticks took so long to make, but that fucking woodshop guy absolutely crushed it. And I'm telling you right now, that was 1,000,000,000% the idea of a Disney exec who was like, listen, our lightsaber market is a little saturated right now. We need to come up with some more weapons other than blasters. Guns are problematic these days. Let's go get some fucking Tuscan sticks that says like, a stick is as neutral as you can get. An old man like me can use it as a walking stick. I'm telling you, they came up with that thing to sell fucking at the part of Star Wars land that they
Yeah. So what's crazy about that? I was thinking about this. We learned when Tamora Morrison came back, when he returns to the role of Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, he apparently requested to use that weapon because it's like, when you go back, it's a real weapon that they used in, I think, New Zealand and Australia, called like a gaffy stick. And he's like, this is like something that my ancestors probably used. So can you work this into the character, work this into the story? So they said yes. And that, like, basically, I think that request crafted half of the Book of Boba Fett just based on him joining the Tuscans, like
Yeah.
being a part of their culture, being a part of their family. People have pointed out it's the first family that Boba Fett has had since his father was killed by Mace Windu. So I like that as well, where it's like kind of a symbolic thing for him joining a family, learning how to work as a team again. They have that line in this episode where they're like, running a family is a lot more complicated than bounty hunting. And it's like, yeah, Boba knows he's got some experience now.
Yeah, and it's gonna. We're definitely gonna get some sort of a lesson he learned with the Raiders that he's gonna then use as the daimyo of the family and have to
Well, I think
manage
all the
all the
Raiders are
shit.
gonna fucking come back and help him in a big battle at the end.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we're
he's gonna right. He's gonna be cornered, right, and it's gonna be like, oh, but who can help him? He's not friends with all the Mandalorians or anything. And then it's like, ooh, 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 ooh.
yes, you guys just got a live Tuscan Raider impersonation by Bob Fox. You didn't even know it was coming. I didn't even know it was coming. What? We're gonna have to clip
And
that.
how
We're
about
gonna have
Boba's
to
learning how to speak their language? I liked halfway through the
Mhm.
episode we started getting subtitles, so they showed us like little by little he started understanding. He even spoke it back to him at one point.
And he's doing kind of the sign language too. So he's kind of like you can tell he's walking himself through it, and then he's walking us through it too. And watching this right after Hawkeye, where they're doing the same thing, I'm like, I am getting a lot of sign language into my brain right now. I almost feel like the Tuscan Raiders, it's the Star Wars version of the Dothraki, and they're gonna come when shit looks bad, and they're just gonna run wild on whoever is there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for the rest of the episode. I'm looking at our runtime right now. I find it interesting that episode one, about a half an hour, took us about an hour to recap it. Episode two, about an hour, took us about 40 minutes to recap it. A bit shorter this week, but I feel like we really covered everything. There's the Black Krrsantan stuff, there's the Hutts. I still think Crimson Dawn is a possibility. I saw some rumors from the Sun, so you can't really count these as rumors. You got to take them with a grain of salt. But they said Harrison Ford might have filmed scenes for this. So keep your eye out for Han Solo. Jeff D. Lowe, if he nails that one and says, he said weeks ago, he said he would be shocked if Han Solo wasn't in it. If he got that fucking correct, I'm going to start looking at this guy and putting him on sus list.
Oh yeah, Jeff D. Lowe. Anyone with a middle initial is like you're born on the sus list with a middle initial, and then you can work yourself off of it. Jeff D. Lowe's not on there, but he will go back on. That is a fucking promise. I again, I did the Twitter Spaces. They said like any predictions or anything, and my one prediction I'm making now. I feel like I don't think it's gonna be the next episode. I feel like probably by episode 5, it's going to be known as the Gamorrean guard game. It's going to be those two are going to come up clutch. There's going to be like a, hey, I know you used to work for my cousin. 22 Jabba's cousin, Jabba's female cousin, who is 2022 goals, is going to be like, listen, I am 2022 goals. You're going to work for us just like you work for my cousin. We're going to, give you gold, and we're going to, you can get a shower inside, all this kind of stuff. And they're going to be like, no fucking way. And they're going to just beat the shit. They're going to pledge that loyalty. The Bash brothers are going to have a fucking game. So I'm making that prediction now. That's my prediction of the next few episodes.
I'm also just thinking we're going to hopefully see maybe some Hutts die by the end of this show. I already hate these twin Hutts. How are they going to kill the Hutts off? Because they're these big sluggish creatures, right? They just kind of sit there. Do you do the I'm going to strangle you again? Like we already got that in this with Boba strangling the creature in episode 1. We already got Jabba getting strangled. Did they get shot? Did they just fucking get stabbed like Drax, at the beginning of Guardians 2 when he fucking goes ham on one? Is somebody going to do that? Maybe 8D8 will get to do that just with the fucking little droid.
I love that. I love that. Oh, I came up with a really, really good prediction that I think is going to happen. I think we're going to get a moment, which this feels like a very ground-based show, right? We're not really doing a lot of starships, but we're going to end up in a starship, and a hyperdrive is not going to work at the worst possible moment. That's my prediction right now. And that's going to go for every Star Wars show and movie we see for the rest of our lives.
Let's say this. Are we going to get a seismic bomb charge go off in this show? We have to, right?
Yeah, that's
got
a
one in the
great call.
Mando series, and everyone went fucking wild for it. Everyone went crazy. You got to bring at least one in.
And we got to get the what's the guy's name? Starts with a B. Bask. The
Bosk.
because you saw Bosk. All the fucking lizard guys were just chilling there.
So many chilling around there. He's got to be running a gang or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that felt like
I think maybe like next episode even. He could be like very soon.
Yep. And going back to the Chekhov's Rancor, no Rancor in the Rancor cage, in the Rancor pit. I feel like we're going to end up with one by the finale. It's like, all right, everything
maybe
is back
Moochie from the Bad Batch.
That's what I'm hoping for, Bob. That's what I'm hoping for right there. And I came up with a great idea of how to grow the podcast. Ready for this one?
Oh.
So you guys know we got to 10,000 subscribers. Shout out everyone, get it. We're going to do the
Almost
contest.
11.
Yeah, almost at 11 right now. And our next goal was 25, right? We're going to be like reasonable. I don't know what the date for that is, but I have a fucking idea of how to get us to 25K. And we'll do the contest. We have to get all the names. There's a ton of names, and we'll have to like figure out a way to automate it. We'll get the prizes, all that kind of stuff. Scout's honor. We have to get, all right, so we need to get a producer for the show. We're going to work on that behind the scenes. We're going to figure out how to grow this YouTube, pull all the algorithm tricks, going to talk to the, our YouTube person at Barstool. This is what I need from the listeners. I need people, if you work for the New York Times, if you work for Variety, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter, anyone that should fucking Barstool Sports, anything that's like a no name, I need you to start spitting out things like My Mom's Basement is the part of my take of Marvel and Star Wars content. So then we can put that in like our little like trailer teaser or a little clip where it's like, you just see that and it says like, by Variety, and then it's like, this is like, imagine you have to have Big Cat and be like, this is the best podcast I've ever listened to, including all the ones I'm in. Big Cat from Barstool Sports.
Boom.
Fucking Portnoy. God damn it. We have the biggest.
We got to get a quote from him. Yeah.
We need to get a Portnoy quote. So if you or anyone works at a company that fits that kind of like realm, give us like think of your best fucking thing to just build up the basement, and we could just throw it in a teaser at some point. Again, that person could work in the accounting department. Technically, that is still part of the New York Times, in my humble opinion. We're playing fucking dirty games here. We're going fucking Bantha style. We're going fucking Tuscan Raiders shit, man. We do whatever the fuck we want. We do whatever we want. So that's how we're
rolling. You know what else I was thinking about the Tuscan Raiders that I forgot to mention? If you do that drug, that lizard, and you're not a Tuscan Raider, you don't grow up around Tuscan Raiders your whole life, seeing that mask has to feel like, oh my god, I just took the fucking scarecrow gas from Batman, and these faces around me are like the scariest things in the entire world. Like, imagine that's the first thing you see. You're just surrounded by Tuscan Raiders in that little tent. I would throw myself into the fire.
I saw our boy, fellow Star Wars diehard Rear Admiral, had tweeted something like, the Boba like trip scene or something like that, and I'm like, I guarantee Rear Admiral had the same exact trip out that Boba Fett has had at some point. He's like rear ends, he ties him on, baby. He's a fucking wild child.
He comes back with a branch that he carves a hockey stick out of.
Yes. Rear Admiral just woke up one day with hey, Rear Admiral, how'd you get that stick? And did someone give that to you? He's like, let me tell you, buddy. Lizard up the nose, got some spice in the face, and I was fucking walking to like some random part of Boston that was underwater. And
shout out to the lizard, hops out of his nose like right on cue as well. The lizard survives. Apparently could do this to whoever.
Oh, that lizard's little fucking like basket he lived in too looked like such a like that lizard's awesome. I fucking love Lizard's my second favorite character behind the droid. That's just the way
I would try that lizard. If that drug existed, I would try the lizard.
You would try the lizard?
Oh yeah, definitely. I do want to shout out listener Robbie Sony. I hope that's how you say his last name, Soni, and he spells Robbie with a Y. He hit me up this week and was like, hey, I have this amazing professional mic. I looked it up. It's like a couple $100 worth of equipment. And he's like, I just want to have the audio equipment on My Mom's Basement improve. So if you're listening and you're just like this guy, Robbie, where you're like, the audio sucks, guys, we're working on it. I'm going to get a camera. I'm going to make the picture more clear. If there was any bugs today, I saw that our Wi-Fi started going choppy every now and then. If there's any, we're working on it. This show is going to be looking like it's $100 million budget by the end of the year. Promise you that.
We're on this, guys. We're going to get to the fucking 25K, then the 100K.
We're aware. We're on it. We know there's little holes in the boat. We're plugging them all right now.
Fucking the people who are watching on YouTube could see at some point my screen went blank and I muted myself, and it's because AJ is off from school for the week because there was someone was sick in his class. They got the bug, so now he's quarantined for the fucking next week. So I had him and my wife chasing him around the house. So there's like we're on the power play right now. We're doing whatever we can, but trust you, we're doing whatever we can to give you guys the best show. Also got to shout out Nate Smith, gave us a 5-star review on iTunes as well. And I can't. On Spotify, you can give like a 5-star rating or whatever, or a thumbs up, I think you give, but I don't think you can leave like a review. Like you can't write anything in there. So shout out to everyone who's done that. And I got to also shout out that girl, Sarah, from last week that I was talking about. She's an Android person and figured out how to get on Apple Podcasts to leave a 5-star review. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that in a
That's
million years.
impressive.
So that is some diehard basement fucking listener shit. So shout out to you guys. We're gonna do whatever we can to grow this thing. And I think I saw Jeff made a good point. This is such a hard space to like grow in, but I think we are so unique to a lot of the other people that do these things. The voice of the Barstool voice, which that's across all genres of the fucking world. It's on us, baby. Let's shoot some lizards up our nose and get fucking crazy.
We got this. We got this one Tuscan Raider at a time. We're getting on our side. Leave a like if you haven't already. Go on Spotify. Leave a 5-star review if you can there, because that's a new platform. So we don't have very many reviews there. We got a couple thousand on iTunes. Leave them there if you haven't already. That's your version of the paying tribute, paying your respects. Come to
Yeah.
us. You leave a like. All right, you paid your respects. Respect.
You can also, send Arizona green teas and rainbow cookies to the office, but we don't go in the office anymore. There's like an outbreak every other day there. So that's the next best thing. And if you made it to the end of the podcast, as always, today's hashtag is #I love lizard drugs. Just because I want to see if how many we can get, and then if anyone else has ever by some
or how about hashtag lizard drugs?
Hashtag lizard drugs.
I love it's just too long. It's too long. Hashtag. They can't tweet that much then.
Fair enough.
Hashtag
Fair
lizard
enough.
drugs. I'll put it on the screen.
Hashtag
lizard drugs. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. This has been a fun episode. We will be back next week for chapter 3, and we're even going to be doing some Peacemaker little tiny recaps. So look out for those. I haven't decided if they're going to be on the podcast and on YouTube, because I think they're just going to be 10-minute little recap snippets, but we'll keep you updated next week because we'll catch up with you before that even debuts. So we will see you then. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a like, please. Leave a subscribe, thumbs up, all that shit. Shout out to the Tuscan Raiders.